Hello, this is Baku Network. Here we are discussing very important topics and issues related to geopolitics, military, political, security, humanitarian and economic issues, including energy and cybersecurity from the perspective of regional and global scale. So here we have in Baku Network Mr. Dr. Farid Shafiyev. He is the chairman of Center of Analysis of International Relations, and also he previously served as the ambassador of Azerbaijan to Canada and Czech Republic. Welcome, Mr. Farid Shafiyev. And also we have very distinguished speaker joining us from Brussels, member of the European Parliament, Mr. Tomasz Poręba. He is also the vice president of the Polish National Olympic Committee, and we are very honored and privileged seeing you, Mr. Poręba, joining us in Baku Network. So without further ado, I would like us to jump in immediately to the conversation. I would like to start with you, Mr. Shafiyev, that last year we had very intensive relations with the European Union. As we have a guest joining us from the European Union, I think that it would be appropriate for us starting talking about the relations between the EU and Azerbaijan. Last year we had very important strategic document on the energy security signed between EU and Azerbaijan. Also the European Union Council and its president mediated some of negotiations between the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia. So how would you assess the current year, how European Union is interested in engaging not only with mediating efforts, also expanding and developing its relations with Azerbaijan in terms of energy security, in terms of overall security?
I think the overall relationship between European Union and Azerbaijan are multifaceted. There are a number of issues in the agenda, from security, political engagement, to humanitarian issues, education, economy, trade, transport and energy. And in certain directions like energy, we did indeed moved quite deeper in terms of cooperation, in terms of engagement. But I would say the last year geopolitical events surrounding both Europe and the South Caucasus made it vital for closer cooperation. In the context of the Russian-Ukrainian war, in the context of the global economic crisis, which indeed coupled two events, COVID crisis, war, but also some other regional issues, which is we have in our neighborhood, the events in Iran, events in the Middle East, what's going on in the United States, also I believe somehow affecting the security situation, economic situation. All these, I think, made it important to develop those relationships. Azerbaijan and EU working on the new agreement. So hopefully, I'm a big advocate for signature and for the ratification of this agreement, which has some problems, but hopefully it will be resolved. But also I would like to highlight that Azerbaijan has very deep relationship with certain individual European countries. And I served in one of European countries, and I know the neighborhood, and especially the Eastern European region, very important economically and politically, because we share some concerns, but also opportunities. So with countries like Poland, with countries like Hungary, Czech Republic, Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, so we signed a number of agreements. So I believe this is very rich platform, very solid platform for cooperation. And I believe our guest also has his own view of what unites us, what's the opportunities, but maybe probably something we are missing. We have also look at critically what is not done yet and what we should do.
Yes, Mr. Poręba, maybe we would like to turn to you. What's your view about the relations from the perspective of the European Union and from the perspective of Poland? How you see the perspectives developing and building up relations between Azerbaijan and Poland, also the Azerbaijan with the European Union? Because, as you know, Azerbaijan is now becoming as a middle power, projecting and influencing its region. And it seems that the Poland, as a very important key player, game changer in that part of the Europe, we have to join our efforts in order to bring more prosperity to our regions, to bring more stability in terms of security and economy. And I think that there are so many issues to discuss. For example, the role of Poland in building up a new security environment, which serves for the better and good of the people of that region. Please, what's your views?
First of all, Mr. Farid and Tural, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to join to the discussion. I think that it's very useful format to exchange of views on our relations and between European Union and Azerbaijan, but also between Poland and Azerbaijan. From my point of view, last year was very successful in terms of, the I would call it as a new direction of European Union policies concerning, different issues, mostly concerning the energy cooperation. And being the member of the European Parliament for years, I observed that European Union wanted to be fully dependent on Russia in the past. But because of, in terms of security, energy security and energy, because of war in Ukraine, the perspectives and the policies concerning, the energy security has been completely changed. And Azerbaijan, finally, what is absolutely good news, because with your potential, energy potential, European Union needs you as a real partner, which would help European Union to not only survive this difficult period of time, being the result of dependency of Russia resources, but also to construct, to build very serious bridges and cooperations areas in order to strengthening our relations in the future. So my general impression is that we started from the good point last year in terms of, the memorandum between European Union and Azerbaijan. And now it's need to follow this agreement by next steps. And in the European Parliament, there is a clear awareness of important, such cooperation is important between European Union and Azerbaijan, mostly in terms of energy security. But I think that we shouldn't stop only on this. We should also start to cooperate on the different areas, what Mr. Dr. Farid mentioned, humanitarian issues, social issues, cultural issues, to bring our nations together in order to allow our citizens to live in the peaceful environment, both in the European Union, but also in South Caucasus region. I think that European Union, it's also good news and good point. Also, we're seriously engaged into the peaceful talks between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I think that President Michel did a very good work in order to strengthen some solutions and push forward some initiatives which would allow reach the peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And from my point of view, it's a good start. It's a good start, and this discussion also it's very, very helpful and useful in terms of to thinking about next steps, but in terms of relations between European Union and Azerbaijan, taking into account the relations between Poland and Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan historically was for Poland one of the most important partner and friends on the South Caucasus region. Polish immigrants lived in Baku. Polish architects built Baku. Our relations in terms of different issues concerning the cultural relations also were unique and should be absolutely strengthening in the future. But from my point of view, being the member of European Parliament and Transport Committee in the European Parliament, the best way of diplomacy between Poland and Azerbaijan, between eastern part of European Union and Azerbaijan, between European Union and Azerbaijan, is to accelerate, to strengthening the transport connection, transport connectivity, to start to seriously think about Via Carpathia road, which is going from Lithuania through Poland to Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, to Greece and Cyprus. It starts to seriously think about the part of this road from Baku through Georgia, Turkey, and Via Carpathia, connect with Via Carpathia. I think that we should seriously think about it. It's not the dream. If we start to seriously think about it, I think that we should connect our regions, and Caspian Sea could be the part of Free Seas initiatives, which is already on the table in the European Union. Free Seas initiatives means connection, transport connection, political connections, cultural connections, social connections between Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Adriatic Sea, and hopefully Caspian Sea. Baku, Azerbaijan should be the main layer of this project. And
Absolutely.
this is what we already discussed in Brussels at the beginning of December 2022 with Minister of Transport of Azerbaijan, Mr. Rashad Nabiev. We hosted him in Brussels. Together with ambassadors from Kazakhstan, Turkey, from European Union, representatives of European Commission, and there is a absolutely green light. There's a green light for this concept. What we need now, the real steps. And in terms of Poland, I would like to also let you know that during the upcoming months, hopefully weeks, we are going to organize in Warsaw a very serious conference on this under the patronage of the Polish Minister of Transport in order to discuss about the serious steps concerning this project. Connect Caspian Sea with Via Carpathia and allow South Caucasus region to be better connected and allowed South Caucasus region to have a successful connectivity with the rest of the Europe. This is my dream, and this is my job in the European Parliament. I'm going to follow with my friends in the future.
Thank you. Very fantastic points. I think that especially the points concerning the interconnectivity, and as I understand, the project of Via Carpathia was the lifetime project of Mr. Tomasz Poręba. By the way, we have, of course, after the ending of war in Caucasus, Azerbaijan now is promoting the policy of interconnectivity in the South Caucasus, because we see it that the only way that moving forward.
Not only after war. I mean, we've doing that for the last 20 years. Let's recall the Baku-Tbilisi Kars railway. That was the essential. Now it's playing important role. We're speaking about so-called middle corridor, the road which go through Central Asia, Caucasus to Europe. And by the way, it was in 90s, it was the European Union project called Traseka to connect Europe with China and Asia through Caucasus and Central Asia. For some time it was forgotten, this project, but now it's kind of revived in the form of the middle corridor, especially in the view that the northern route is not working basically. The flow of cargo through the middle corridor is growing. So I think what the Tomasz told, let's call each other by first name. It's very important for the global connectivity. I know there's some skepticism about these projects, how it's viable, etc. But I'm old enough to remember that when in 90s, Azerbaijan began contemplating with the Western energy companies about the pipelines, oil and gas, it was a lot of skepticism whether they will be viable, plausible, they will be commercially beneficial. But those pipelines now working and bringing gas and oil to the global market, gas to the European market now. We're speaking about the gas pipelines TANAP and TAP, which is go to Italy. And also there is the ideas to expand north to the north. I think this is the very real projects. Of course, it needs some additional investment, but very doable. I fully agree with Tomasz. And also, on another note, I would like to underline, you mentioned the role of the Charles Michel. We indeed had very positive development last year. Unfortunately, by the end of the year, the negotiations stuck between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But let's see, maybe this year will bring more clarity. And by the way, the peace and the signing of peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan, I think also create opportunities for wider players, for wider context. We're speaking about Zangazur Corridor, which will connect Azerbaijan with its region Nakhchivan, but also will be beneficial for Armenia itself, which is also like Azerbaijan landlocked country. So, but we need to think a bit out of box. Of course, we need to overcome the past hostilities, which is not easy. But this is doable, and I think it's important that the European Union continue to play the role as a mediator. So there is this now kind of the pause, but hopefully it will be continued.
Yeah, European Union must continue the role as a negotiator. I think that it's a real great interest also for European Union to have a peace in South Caucasus. Also, in terms of the projects we already mentioned, the transport connectivity. You mentioned about Middle Corridor. You mentioned about the other infrastructural connections between Azerbaijan and the rest of Europe. It would allow European Union to diversify the energy sources for the future. It means that it would allow European Union to be less dependent on Russia, firstly, but the second, to allow European citizens to make less cost for gas, for energy, because now in Brussels, in European Union, in terms of the cost of energy, it's a real problem. So I think that our duty and our challenge is to make a pressure in the European Parliament for European leaders in order to restart the negotiations between restart the talks between Armenia and Azerbaijan, in order to find as soon as possible the successful results. Also in terms of Zangazur corridor, there is no any objections to open this corridor. It should be open in based on the trilateral agreement which was signed a few years ago. But we still need a pressure in order to do it, and I think that European Union should give you the real support in order to allow to reopen this corridor as soon as possible. And also let me also underline and let me also thanks for Azerbaijan authorities, for Azerbaijan president. Thank you very much for your engagement into the helping the Ukraine in this war with Russia. As you know, Poland received almost 3 million refugees, but many countries, including Azerbaijan, helped and helping Ukraine in the real way, on the different level of course support. But in Poland, it's clearly seen that Azerbaijan is on our side, on the free world side, that Azerbaijan also take into account, the geopolitical position and geopolitical aspects, is playing very, very constructive role in this conflict. So thank you very much. I'm in permanent touch with the ambassador of Nargis in Warsaw, and she's also doing the great job in order to to strengthen relations between Poland and Azerbaijan. But in terms of your engagement into the help to Ukraine, it's clearly seen in Europe, and it's clearly seen in Poland that we are going on the right directions.
Yes, Mr. Poręba, we know that you are leading the think tank which is called New Direction, and you have so detailed information about the regional and global politics, or also in the South Caucasus. Here you have pointed out very important element, which is Zangazur Corridor, which is the missing part of that bigger middle corridor. And Dr. Shafiyev, how do you see that without opening of this Zangazur Corridor, it seems that it would be the missing element would add to the value of this middle corridor, and without it, of course, it would be very difficult to talk about the fully functional middle corridor.
I think without Zangazur Corridor, this corridor, I mean, if you're speaking about middle corridor, is already functioning. So I would say what in terms of your terminology, it will be added value. But if, let's say, Armenia decides not to go with the Zangazur Corridor, I mean, Azerbaijan already built the ways to Georgia, for Georgia to Turkey, and now speaking also about the Black Sea connectivity. But it will be missed opportunity for Armenia, missed opportunity for some other countries. We've seen that how, for example, three countries, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey, work together in terms of energy and transportation, and now they are reaping the benefit of this cooperation. It's commercially viable projects. That's first we should underline. Energy projects commercially viable, and also transportation projects. Yes, it needs huge investment. Now we're working also closely with Kazakhstan. But at the end of the day, it's the private businesses which will be using this connection. And the same with what's the Tomasz Poręba told about these European projects, Via Carpathia and some others. It is first of all commercial projects. So nobody is going to invest just for the sake of some political connection. Though the political connection, of course, facilitates. It brings the players, the bankers, and some others. So this is what I think the Poland, that's why very important. I would say it's the new already emerged. It's the new power, as you said, it's the new architecture and new economy of Europe. Probably we should also mention that the Poland is becoming quite favorable destination for Azerbaijani students, and I hope the Polish economy will overcome refugee and energy crisis, which in Europe currently we've seen that refugee crisis in 90s in Azerbaijan. So I know it's very hard, but I think it's on the what, for example, if we look at the energy issue, I think Europe coped already with the worst scenarios, so it's gone. So hopefully the Poland will be a very important player economically, and our connections will allow also, because indeed if we look at the relationship between European countries and there are some spoilers. Let's be frank, with some countries in Europe we don't have good relationship, for example with France, but Poland can help us to expand this kind of network and understanding in Europe the situation.
By the way, Ambassador Shafiev, you have served as the ambassador of Azerbaijan to Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, like Poland, is the member of the Visegrad Group, and we worked together in at the embassy. So I remember you have paid special attention to the Visegrad Group countries, because we have sometimes, as a stereotype, we have seen since the establishment of the European Union, countries like Germany or France deciding on behalf of the other members of the EU countries. So we need this diversification. When we are talking about the EU, it doesn't mean only the Germany and France deciding instead of others. So in this case, I think that the Poland and like middle power or becoming more global power can play a very important role in rejecting this stereotype that European Union people suffer from.
When the current opposition had a power in Poland, they followed all directions given from Brussels concerning different policies. But when we won elections in 2015, my party, Law and Justice, we completely reorientate our also attitude to the relations with the European Union, but mostly in terms of our relations with France and our relations with Germany. We are a big country, we have a great history, we have a great people, we have a great ambitions, we have an open-minded society, and we have decided to openly express our views concerning our current drive of the European Union. We started to seriously discuss about some policies which were proposed by the European Union. It wasn't very often warmly welcomed, but we are not going to stop to do it. We need to present our view. We need to present our position. We need to build the alliance in our regions based on Visegrad Group, but also based on the Free Peace Initiative. This is the new perspective for Europe. This is the new, I would say, this is the second breast of Europe. It can be, the alliance of countries which are ready to cooperate based on their, the common goals, living in the eastern part of the Europe. And South Caucasus region is absolutely, could be the part of this project. And Via Carpathia as a spine of Free Seas initiative could be, the best model of diplomacy.
And Mr. Tomasz,
referring to what this Dr. Farid said. Relations between Poland and Azerbaijan, yes, education, exchanging students, cultural events, political relations, support each other on the different forum of discussion, but also, this is what we also mentioned, the military cooperation in terms of, the demining the Karabakh region. I know that this is the big problem for Azerbaijan. I was in Karabakh a few months ago. I was in Susha. I saw, the lands of mining lands, millions of mines still existing and killing people.
Yes, very good points. Just recently, I have read from the news that Poland demanded compensation from Germany. It's this sum about 1.3 trillion US dollars because of the damage inflicted to Poland during the Second World War. And here I would like to turn to you, Dr. Shafiyev. We know that during the 30 years of occupation of Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, Armenia inflicted hundreds of billions of dollars damage to Azerbaijan. And in this case, of course, it's one of the principles of the international law to demand a compensation from a country who inflicted this damage. And here, in this case, we have seen cities, villages of Azerbaijan destroyed to the ground. So many people were properties, so many sufferings. Do you think that this principle of international law and Azerbaijan can follow this suit and to demand its compensation?
This is a very difficult issue. I'm not sure what probably at this discussion we should focus on this issue particularly, because it's very complicated legal issue, and also for Poland it won't be easy issue from the, there is the historical definitely justification for this sort of demand, but the politics works differently, and unfortunately international law also the hostage of the big powers power, let's say, for tautology. But I think if we create indeed conducive environment for economic cooperation, if we create this interconnectivity, if we sign the peace treaty, because if we look at the foundation of European Union and European security, it's the recognition of territorial integrity, recognition of the certain basic elements, the borders, etc., that will create more conducive relationship. And we now see how in Europe the security is reshaping in the view of the external threats. I think in the South Caucasus we can use the same experience to sign with 3 countries. We have initiative last year by President of Azerbaijan, which was supported by Georgia, to create the 3 countries platform: Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and then to build something else on that. It's exactly, if we look at the EU nucleus of European Union, was coal and the steel agreement.
Still coming.
Yeah, so something like that, along that line, we will work. But of course, the issues of compensation, issues of the historical justice, and etc., that will remain on the table. I think it will be resolved in the due course in terms of cooperation. I would like today a bit more optimistic, because we just the year 2023 began, and probably will give a bit more promising news, hopefully.
Yes, we have to be optimistic, but at the same time, the reality is that the Polish nation, Azerbaijani nation, we went through the same kind of historic similarities. Poland was divided by big powers. Azerbaijan was divided between big powers in the 19th century. That's why we have to, of course, we have to advocate for the peace in our regions, in Europe, in the Caucasus. But unfortunately, sometimes those challenges that are coming, we have to be ready to prevent this. And in this, here I would like to turn to you, Mr. Tomasz Poręba, that recently also there were news that Poland is going to increase its military security. And if I am not mistaken, the number of Polish troops will be increased from 160,000 to 300,000. And of course, in terms of the war that is going in Ukraine, in terms of the challenges, security challenges, military challenges that we are facing, it seems that it's very wise move by the Polish government, if it is true, of course. What do you think?
Yeah, we do not have another solution order. We need to, to strengthen our military capacity, and we have our relations with Russia. During the last centuries, we have never had even one period of peace. Russia was always our enemy. Russia was always against Poland, and Russia wanted always to govern and decide about Polish future. So also in the same situation in terms of Baltic states and other south eastern countries of the European Union. So Poland, my government, my President Duda, Prime Minister Morawiecki, President Kaczynski, we have decided to, and Mr. Blaszczak decided to immediately, accelerate the purchase process concerning different military capacity. We bought, the drones in Turkey. We bought the tanks in South Korea. We bought the jackets, the airplanes and fighters, 535 in United States. So in order to, to strengthening our military capacity, and our army now is growing. Our military equipment is going to be one of the best in the world. Our factories, our economy is also dedicated to work for army, and because there is no other solution. This is only one way what we should do. And also we invite, and we have a very, very useful and fruitful and very successful cooperation with NATO, mostly with USA. We have a NATO bases and NATO troops on our territory in order to defend our nation and our country.
Yes, Mr. Poręba, you have mentioned that you have purchased drones from Turkey. Of course, it's very pleasing that Polish is the #1 NATO member country who purchased these drones from Turkey. Of course, Turkey is our strategic partner, and of course, we are very pleased seeing these good relations between Turkey and Poland is increasing. And by the way, recently, the foreign minister of Turkey visited Poland, and he opened a consulate general in Lodz. By the way, it's the fourth consulate general of Turkey in Poland, and according to the words of the Çavuşoğlu, the foreign minister, Turkey is going to open new consulate generals. This is a manifest of the relations,
Yeah.
the demonstration
Yeah.
of the close relations that is forming between Turkey and Poland. And taking into account we are the same, I mean, Azerbaijan and Turkey are very close allies. It's very important to mention this.
It's also very important to mention that from Polish point of view, having some tensions inside the European Union, not only in terms of politics and political relations, but also, the military relations, because as you know, Russia and France is not very eager to support, Germany and France, they are not very eager to support Ukraine. So we need to find, the external partners. We need to find, the countries out of the European Union, which would, we could cooperate on the different levels. I think that we, for taking into account the strategic interests of Poland, we should try to looking for the bypasses concerning, our existence in terms of our presence in the European Union, and try to find the friends, partners out of the European Union. So from Poland, this is the strategic goal to do it, and strengthening relations with Turkey, Azerbaijan, with United States, with UK. It's our crucial challenge in terms of in terms of our military security and generally security of Poland. So this is reasonable, and it will be continued in the future without any doubts.
And here I would like, maybe last but not least, Dr. Shafiyev, as Azerbaijan has created new realities in the South Caucasus, ending the war, focusing more on regional cooperation. And here I think that it is very important to speak about Azerbaijan as a middle power, because the middle power is a power which lacks the half of a global player, but it can still influence the politics, the economy, the environment where it is situated, like Azerbaijan and Poland. So here, of course, if Azerbaijan is located in the heart of the middle corridor and as a new becoming middle power in the region, I think that we must join our efforts like Azerbaijan, Poland, to bring more prosperity, more, peaceful atmosphere to our regions. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely now, with especially after the Second Karabakh War, we can speak that Azerbaijan is a fully established middle power, but even before, economically, we've been the largest power in the region. But we try to use our power for the benefit not only for Azerbaijan, for other countries. I mentioned already our projects, economic projects with Georgia and Turkey. After the war, we successfully resolved some issues which we had on the Caspian Sea with Turkmenistan. Now it's growing relationship with the countries Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. So, and would like again to remind, after the war with Armenia, the president of Turkey and Azerbaijan issued initiative of economic cooperation. So we invited Armenia too to be part of economic framework. We invited Iran. We invited Russia. So we always look at our neighbors as a potential economic partners. It's up to them. And unfortunately, we have now the tension with Iran. Occasionally, with Armenia, still the issue is not fully resolved. But Azerbaijan would like indeed to create in this neighborhood, in this geography, the platform for security and economic cooperation. We have red lines. It's, obvious red lines, I think, for every country like Poland and some other countries in Europe. It's our territorial integrity. It respects to our sovereignty and independence. But if it's respected, that's the case, we are ready to work with the countries. Now, I think we probably in 2023, we should focus on also, besides our neighborhood, we should focus on European countries, trying to finalize the agreement with EU.
Yes.
Because I think it's important not only for EU, but first of all, it's important for Azerbaijan to have a number of agreements. I'm in favor of Open Sky Agreement and some other agreements which will, of course, we need to secure, there are some economic issues, energy prices and trade issues. This is of course, our priority to protect our market. But to make Azerbaijan economy competitive, to make Azerbaijan economy less dependent on hydrocarbon resources, we need to expand our cooperation. And countries like Poland, I believe, can be very useful partners.
Mr.
you.
Poręba, would you like to add something?
Just very briefly, yes, I fully agree with Dr. Shafiyev, Farid. This is what we should do together. This is what this very reasonable policy to create, inside Azerbaijan and around Azerbaijan, the area of the peaceful, successful economic cooperation, both in the region, but also with the European Union, based on, the future agreement. I hope it will be signed soon between European Union and Azerbaijan. This is what we should work together on this, because this is the win-win strategy for European Union and also for Azerbaijan and other countries. Transport connectivity could be the best way of diplomacy. Based on the transport connectivity, what Dr. Shafiyev said, will be followed always, the transport connectivity, the transport network, the new roads, new corridors will be always followed by investments. Investments means that our economy, European Union economy, Polish economy, Azerbaijan economy will be growing. Means that the standard of living in Azerbaijan, in the South Caucasus and European Union will be growing. So it should be our common challenge, common goal, common determination to push forward such projects what we already discussed in the future, based on the agreements which should be signed between European Union and Azerbaijan as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that we already discussed the important topics, and I thank you, Mr. Poręba and Dr. Shafiyev, to you for sparing your time. And I think that the Baku Network is a platform that will be continuing discussing these hot topics, topics that are standing high on our agenda, and hopefully see you again in the Baku Network. Thank you so much.